Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve, your host for the day, for this special bonus episode. And in the studio with me today is
Rob.
All right, so Rob, better known from the Monsters of Rock cruise and Kiss cruise, is Berto. You may hear him refer to him as that. And then also we have our returning guest. We've had him on a couple times. Our good friend from up in Canada, Vancouver, Rob Karhukangas. How are you, my friend?
Doing very well, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on today. And also, you may hear him referred to as Canada or Canadian Rob. So, and also we have a new guest. Actually, we have not had this guy on the podcast. We met in the pool on the Monsters of Rock cruise. Came up, we started shooting the shit, and we have Brian Hendrickson from the Talking Into Infinity podcast, which is a Dream Theater podcast. Brian, how are you?
Awesome, man. It's great to be on the show.
Hey, thanks for coming, taking your afternoon. We're recording early in an afternoon here on today's the 19th of March, and I will be your keyboard player today. So, you may hear this episode and you may not.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. It's going to be a rough ride. So, Berto, how are you, buddy?
I'm very well.
Are you sufficiently recovered for the Monsters of Rock cruise?
I am. I had a little cruise crud when I got back for a couple days, but I am feeling much better now.
Awesome. And Canadian Rob, how are you? How are you, my friend?
Yeah, doing good. Still on a high from the cruise. It was pretty hard to get motivated for work on Monday, though, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. Brian, how about you?
I'm doing all right. I actually had some pre-cruise crud, which kind of sucked and sort of dampened my experience a little. I tried not to let it too much, and then when I got home, it was full-blown, and I just finished my course of antibiotics and my drugs, so hopefully I'm finally getting back to better, but I was in pretty rough shape there for the last week or so.
Oh, well, at least, hey, you're able to drink through it, right?
Yeah, I was, but it was like I wanted to drink more, but it was like I was so not feeling it that I couldn't eat. It was either I'm going to get I'm just going to fall asleep, or I'm not even getting a buzz. So if I go again, I'm definitely going to make sure I drink a lot more than I did this time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and for you guys out there, this is we're doing this bonus episode because I wanted to get the two Robs and Brian on here because they were all newbies to the Monsters of Rock cruise. So, and I know that Berto here has been on. We did 5 Kiss cruises, right? 5 Kiss cruises, and we'll kind of get a different perspective from Rob as to the differences in the cruise and stuff. And Canadian Rob and Brian, it was your guys' first Monsters of Rock cruise. Have you guys cruised before on a regular cruise?
I have not.
No, this was my first ever cruise in general. So yeah, it was quite an experience.
Rob, so I know you've been on cruises before. Yeah. I know you did your honeymoon on a cruise. Yeah. So, and I just want to tell Rob and Brian that you are totally fucked if you go on a regular cruise because you're going to be like,
"Where's the band?
Where's the bands? It's 2:00 in the afternoon. I should have seen 5 bands by now." Yeah. So just be prepared for that because I went on my first cruise in last September. That wasn't a rock cruise, and I'm not saying I was bored or anything. We had a fantastic time, but it was absolutely a different feel, different pace. It was like totally different, and like totally like slamming the brakes on when you're driving down the fucking highway.
My wife wants to go in November on one.
Oh, really?
She's thinking like October, November.
I go.
Oh, I know we're gonna go, but like you just said, it's gonna be totally different.
Yeah.
So I got to keep my expectations down.
That's right. That's right. So Berto, so what do you got going on? Anything cool or no?
Oh, nothing. Well, the only thing I've been doing is finally cataloging my vinyl in Discogs. I've been putting it off. So I started doing that yesterday and the day before. Started tip of the iceberg getting in there. And
it's a process.
It's a process, especially with the ones without the barcodes, because you got to put the album information in. So it's a project.
Yeah.
It's a project.
Going the dead wax.
I know. It's so...
it's
tough to see
It
that.
It is.
The older I get.
That's why I have the magnifying glass sitting on the bar out there.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Rob, how about you? What do you got going on, my friend?
Nah, not too much. Got back into regular life and listen to a lot of music while I'm working at home and checking out local breweries and stuff.
Yeah,
Nothing exciting.
It seems like you have a lot of cool breweries up there. Every time I look on the weekends, you're at this brewery or that brewery. So it looks like a good area for beer up there.
Yeah, Vancouver's got a lot of them, and there's a couple around I think about 5 within like a 2-minute drive from my place. So
Oh, really?
pretty handy.
Nice.
Oh, all right. And Brian, how about what's going on with you? And give our viewers a lowdown of Talking Into Infinity.
So yeah, we started just over 3 years ago. It's kind of hard to believe. I looked today, and I think we did our 78th episode. They actually, if one of us isn't around, the other guy kind of steps up and does one. So they did do one when I was gone. So we're going 3 years strong now. We go every other Thursday, and we're one of the few podcasts that does actually stream live. And we started out kind of almost 100% Dream Theater. We're kind of changing our brand. It's going to be, at some point, we're going to call it sort of a Dream Theater-centered podcast because, there's only so much you can talk about. And we were just about kind of through with doing all of the album, reviews, and deep dives and all that sort of thing and the live concerts. But, the return of Portnoy, that's obviously has everybody super excited. And I do the podcast with my buddy John Drake. He also has a Star Wars podcast. There's 5 million of them out there. Forgot the name of his. The Nerf Herder Council. That's his Star Wars podcast. If you're interested in Star Wars. And so we're on 7:30 p.m. Eastern time here. We stream live through YouTube, Facebook, and sometimes we've had as many as 30 some people on. I think up to 50. That was when we actually did have a live interview with James LaBrie and his son Chance LaBrie, and they were talking about James's last solo album, which I think, Steve, you're a big fan of that, if I'm not mistaken.
That's BC.
BC, okay.
Yeah.
I knew one of you guys was. We had those guys on, and Paul Logue, who produced that, he's been on our show a few times. So we've had some pretty cool guys on our show. It just really started out as two buddies who liked Dream Theater, and I knew John already had his podcast, and he's like, you know what, why not? We started looking, like literally there's nobody else on the planet that's doing one. And the first show we did live, we had a guy from Australia and a guy from Canada right there the second we started chiming in with comments. So it was pretty fun. It was hilarious.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and because I was kind of the same thing when we started the Queensryche podcast. We were just kind of shooting the shit about it the one day between myself and Ray and Texas Steve that does the Uncle Steve's Iron Maiden Zone, and we just decided to do one, and I always said that it seems tougher to have a podcast that is a certain band centric because there is a finite area of stuff you can talk about. Like look at all the Kiss podcasts out there, like. Some of them are revisiting stuff that they've talked about before, which I have no problem with. I could talk about that shit or whatever all the time, but it's and you see a lot of these podcasts because we're even starting to do it a little bit with the Queensryche one, kind of keeping it Queensryche centric, but kind of branching out a little bit into other things, which you'll see on an episode coming up soon. But we've had little difficulties getting together to record lately, but we're working on that. So you guys definitely check out Brian on Talking Into Infinity, and we'll have him give you the details again at the end of the show. So I just want to go real quick. We did probably 2 weeks ago now, I think it was, that we did the wrap up from the Monsters of Rock cruise proper with myself, BC, Granza, Richie, and we did it with Sonny and Steven from Grown Up Rock. We did the first pre-party, day 1, day 2 on Hotter Than Hell, and then we did day 3, 4, and 5 on Grown Up Rock, and they came out great, and my voice sounds fantastic now compared to what it sounded like on the last 2 episodes with those guys. So it'll probably start to go in maybe like 10 minutes or so, but I wanted to make sure I got these guys on because I wanted to get Rob on, but then I thought that Berto here, I figured, well, he's a new one to this one as well. Then I got talking with Brian, so I figured I'll bring the 3 of you guys on. We'll get your guys' perspective and everything on there. So, but before we do, in Potter Than Hell fashion. We're going to roll with our usual format here as much as possible. So, Canadian Rob, what have you been listening to, buddy?
Well, no surprise. I've been listening to a lot of stuff from bands that were on the boat. Some Richie Kotzen and Fastway and Black and Blue. Anyway, big list there. But spending a lot of time on the new Judas Priest Invincible Shield, which is a great album.
All right. Brian, how about you? What do you got going?
So I needed a full kind of a rock metal detox for a couple days after all that, honestly. And the guy was one of my dueling piano partners who was on the cruise with me. He's like, I don't need a guitar solo for a couple months now. And I love that kind of music, but I do have kind of some diverse taste too. So there's a band called Dayseeker, kind of in the Bring Me the Horizon, Bad Omens vibe. Their last album called Dark Sun, I really love that album. It's in that vibe. It's a more of a pop kind of a modern pop vocal, but you do get a heavy guitar once in a while, a lot of keyboards, but really cool album. And I decided to go back to the third Enough's Enough album, Animals with Human Intelligence. I was kind of up for that after seeing them on, and I'll give you my comments on them later. But also to get back to my rock metal, the Whom Gods Destroy. That's the new project with Sharinian and Bumblefoot, and I think it's Dino Jalusic on vocals. I don't know if you guys have heard that, man. It is a bit of what you guys call a grower, but man, there are some really, really cool, just way out there kind of things. It's not really like Sons of Apollo. It's a little bit more experimental in phases, and I've been enjoying the hell out of that.
All right, cool. How about you, Berto? What do you got, buddy?
I've been checking out the new Priest album. I got to give it a couple more listens. I only ran through it once or twice. And I've been checking out April Wine because April Wine impressed me a lot on the boat. And Canadian Rob said, hey, you should check them out. And I know Nature of the Beast was one of them. That's a really, really good one. And there's one more he told me to check out that I would like, and I forget the one he told me.
Harder, Faster?
Harder, Faster.
Oh, okay. I got to write that down because
that's the only other one I know.
They have quite a few of them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to definitely check that one out. But that's what I've really been tackling into, really checking out lately.
All right. And for me, I've still been rocking to the new Priest, the new Bruce Dickinson. I really like the new Bruce Dickinson. People are like, on it. I really like it. I actually listened to it like 3 times on the day that we left the ship. And I was just in a weird mood the other night, so I threw on My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade. Just a different vibe of stuff. Than I got to give a shout out to Dylan because he's the one that got me, kind of forced me to listen to it because it was one of his birthday albums a couple years ago. But it's one that I'll throw on every now and then. It's great album. So that's what we got going. So Canadian Rob's got some work bands going, some Kotzen. He's got some Fastway as well, some Black and Blue, the new Priest. Brian's got a band called Dayseeker. The album is called Black Sun. Enough's Enough, Animals with Human Intelligence. I like that album too. World is a Gutter is fucking fantastic on there. Oh no, that's on Strength. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Strength.
Yeah, and Whom Gods Destroy. I have checked that out a little bit, and I need to. You're right. It is a little bit of a grower, and but Dino's vocals are fantastic. So I could see me enjoying that one as I go along. New Priest for Robin, some April Wine, Nature of the Beast for Robin. He's going to check out Harder, Faster as well.
Yes, I am.
All right, so let's get into the episode itself here, and so we'll start with. We're going to start with Berto here because he's had some experience with the Kiss Cruise and guys. So I want you to give me what was your deciding factor to go, and what were your first impressions and your travel and all that. So what do you got, Berto?
Well, the reason I went is because the Kiss Cruises are over, so I got to keep my rock world strong, keep doing something. I knew it was going to be crazy. The way you guys talked about it, because it's going to be bigger, badder, faster, everything. So we did the pre-party. The pre-party was fun. Got to see a couple bands. That was cool. And then once we got on the boat, of course, it's a bigger boat. So that was cool. And then just the time when they start, you said that the pool party always starts late. The sail away always starts late. So there were screw ups, but then there was bands playing. So it was good just to, but it was like nonstop running, going here, going there. There's not a lot of time in between anything to catch a breath and, shovel some food down real quick, and then you're off to see the next band. So it was awesome. It was really, really cool. And there was a lot of bands I didn't get to see because you want to see the other one. So you got to pick and choose. So there was a couple that I kind of missed that I wish I saw. And then I think only one of them, Armored Saint, we couldn't get into the second show because...
That was KK's Priest.
Oh, it wasn't. It was Phil.
Armored Saint was rained out the last night.
Oh, that's what it was. KK's Priest we couldn't get in because it was max capacity. So, but at least we did get to see them before that. So there was a couple other ones I missed that I wish I saw, like Joe Satriani. I didn't see him at all. Even if I caught a little bit of it would have been cool. So there was a couple that I missed. I had more British Lion I didn't get to see. Richie Kotzen.
We're going to go through the days.
But I've seen Richie Kotzen already. But
yeah, he was a Kiss Cruise guy.
Overall, it was an experience. It was pretty, 90 miles an hour. Just go, go, go.
Yeah, full throttle.
Yeah.
Brian, how about you? What was your deciding factor, and how'd you make out getting on the ship and travel and everything?
Well, my deciding factor didn't show up, and that was TNT. So
okay.
I was kind of host from the get-go. I tried not to let that crush me too bad because I really was pretty hyped when I saw that Armored Saint was on there. I figured Soto would be on there again. Obviously, he was. I was kind of excited to see Spread Eagle. And Queensryche, we'll talk about them later. I mean, just a machine. But yeah, I mean, so it started out, I don't even know what area we were in that we stayed. So we got there 2 days early, mainly because they canceled our original flight, didn't tell us anything. All of a sudden we get an email saying your flight's canceled, not even rescheduled or anything. And this was about a month and a half ago. So we scrambled to find a new flight. Well, it was basically going to be half price to fly in a day earlier. So I'm figuring, okay, we'll just split the difference on a hotel room and come out the same, And this way we don't risk, completely missing the cruise, which I just kind of had this fear if we get canceled again. So we ended up staying somewhere near Little Haiti. I don't know if you guys have any idea where that is. No. But it's like we were only, 20 minutes from port, and we were 20 minutes from the casino, but we weren't by the airport. We weren't by anything else. We weren't within walking distance of anything other than a Burger King across the street that had been closed for probably 6 months. So it was not an ideal start, and I was feeling kind of crappy. But we did find kind of a cool little Haitian grocery store. We walk in there, and they're like serving, just basically like almost like a hot plate of just a whole bunch of different Haitian foods they had for breakfast, and we just really loaded up our plates and just like ate there standing up in the middle of this Haitian grocery store in the middle of Little Haiti. So that was kind of interesting. And so we started off like that, and I thought the pre-party was pretty cool. It was fun seeing those bands, and I was just really just wanting to get to cruise day. And when I first stepped on that ship, I was like, oh my God, I just never seen anything like it, for my first cruise. So I thought for the most part, I'd heard so many horror stories about bands being, nobody being on time, but really, and I think you guys touched on this, the only thing that really was totally hosed was sort of that first Firehouse deal. I went to Armored Saint the first day, and I think it was, what did we come up with, maybe 10, 15 minutes late, but everything else seemed to go off on time on concert. So that part I was happy about.
All right, Rob, how about you, buddy?
Well, I got first interested listening to you guys, talk about it. And then last year I turned 60, so I told my wife, hey, I don't want any gifts. I'd rather just go on the cruise. So she threw a party and told everyone to bring money to donate to the cruise instead of gifts.
Nice.
So once they did that, it would be rude of me not to go. Of course, the lineup and getting to hang out with you guys was an influence as well. Coming from Vancouver, it was a direct flight. We had to wait half hour to get the wings de-iced first. But got to Miami, got my stuff, got on the shuttle, got to the hotel, threw my stuff on the bed, and then walked as quick as I can to the pre-party.
Yeah, it was because I was in communication with Rob throughout the day, and then like he kind of went dark, and I'm like, yo, dude, like, are you in Miami or what? And then literally like 5 minutes later, he like tapped me on the shoulder. Hey, I'm like, hi, what's going on? So yeah, and the pre-party is always a good time. And last year we went out of Orlando, so obviously it was in a different place, and it was not an outdoor thing. It was like in a convention center hall, and it was cool. Like Eclipse played and Soto played, but like I really enjoy them a lot more. You have a lot more freedom of movement and stuff, having it at the Magic City Casino, and because that's where the first pre-party was for the first cruise that we went on. So it was kind of more familiar territory. So it was cool meeting Canadian Rob, and of course Berto was with us. You went in the Uber that got there second though, right?
Yeah.
You went in the first Uber, got there last. So
yes.
But it's really cool, and that's where you got to meet Rob, and Y&T was absolutely fantastic. Do you guys have a favorite from the first night? How about you, Rob K?
Definitely Y&T. Far and above, better than any other band I saw. Mind you, because my flight got in a little late and stuff, I never saw Ted Poley. I came in while Soto Beeler were kind of finishing up. But out of them, Rhino Bucket, Hardcore Superstar, Y&T definitely miles ahead of everybody.
Okay. Brian, how about you?
Yeah, I like probably Hardcore Superstar. We were so beat by the end of the day there that we only really saw about 4 songs of Y&T. Soto Beeler, I was kind of annoyed because there was a lot of. I know it's supposed to be some comedy, but it seemed like every 5 seconds Jason would start a Taylor Swift song or something. And it's like, I don't know. I just wanted to hear more, just those guys just playing and singing. And it was cool when he did part of a live from the first Sons of Apollo album. But, when we first got there, too, it was neat because it's like, wow, there's Ted Poley just literally walking around in the crowd. That was something cool. And by the time we got to the ship and you're just seeing these guys all walking around, it's like the vibe of that is just something you can't really explain it to other people until they experience it,
Yeah, and also too on that kind of thing, that there's very few of the artists that you don't see on the boat. Like because when your Alice Cooper played, like he didn't come out, Doro won't come out on the ship. But I mean, I didn't see Satriani, but I heard he was out. So there's really not a lot of artists that are inaccessible on these cruises. So when that's a very cool aspect of it. And Ted Poley was on our flight on the way down too. I think he might have been on our flight on the way home too.
He was.
I think he was. So we had both flights with Ted Poley. I mean, we weren't hanging with him or anything, but he was there. So pre-party.
I enjoyed Y&T, but Ted Poley I was very surprised how good his voice still was. Because we saw him walking around the airport. He looked like he needed surgery. Because I think he was going in for surgery
like kidney
after
surgery
the cruise.
Or something, kidney stones.
And he had a cane, and he looked like he was hurting. But then when he got up and sang, like, he sounded great. Like, he brought it, and he was walking around and jumping around, and he sounded really good. But I think Y&T was my favorite for that night. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, for sure. And Rob, I went to you first, so yeah. So next day we had probably maybe not even a 10-minute shuttle ride to the ship from the hotel, and I think Canadian Rob, you met us in the port, right?
Yeah.
So we all kind of got on the ship together, and it was, compared to other ones, it was a little more of a wait than we have had on the last couple. But it was probably 45 minutes of kind of sitting there after we got checked in. They
corralled us for a little while.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad. Brian, how did you find getting on the ship?
I was pleasantly surprised because when we take that, we took an Uber to the airport and you get there and you see those lines and you're like, oh my God, are we going to be standing out here for 4 hours? And, they just took our luggage and we got in line. And I don't know that the whole process from where we started to get all the way through there was probably barely an hour, which I didn't think was too bad considering how many people were there. Maybe it was even more like 45 minutes.
Yeah, they kind of streamlined that because I remember when we did it in I want to say Orlando. We literally, like all that line that you kind of stood inside, we did that in a parking garage last year. And it sucked, and it was probably twice as long. So it was pretty streamlined, this one. And because even when we were sitting there waiting to go, up the escalator to get on the walkway to get on the ship, they had some of the security crew and stuff like that ready to go up, and they let them go up the stairs, but then they stopped them and sent them back down because the ship wasn't ready for even the production crew to get on the ship. So. Once they started letting them go, the line, it went quick. So, and another thing that is too, I don't know, how did your guys' luggage get to your rooms in a timely fashion, Rob? I think you guys did, right?
Yeah, ours wasn't long at all.
And you lucked out because last year Richie's didn't get there till like almost midnight.
Wow.
Last year on the ship. So, Rob and Brian, you guys, no problems getting your luggage into your cabin because it was pretty early. It was about 1:00, I think, by the time we were able to get in ours.
Yeah, we didn't have any issues. I did want to say real quick too that I forgot that. So the guy that came with Matt, everyone's like, oh, the water is super expensive on the ship. They allow you to bring a case of water on. So he's lugging this case of water around with a suitcase. And then he gets there and everyone's like, yeah, the ship will let you have it on, but Monsters of Rock won't let you have it on. So so he's like walking throughout the whole line, just handing people water. So he was like the most popular guy on the line there for a while. Everyone got a free water out of it. So it's like went through this whole production of because it's like he walked 3 blocks, to get it, then take it back to the hotel, then load it up, then have to walk it over there. So it was kind of comical.
The Monsters of Rock water distribution technician. That's awesome.
Yeah. I just thought, and then he was like, he also said you could bring a bottle of wine on, but we never ended up buying one. Is that true or?
I think they put the kibosh on that last year.
Yeah. Okay.
I know people that people that I know that may even be in this room have at times brought alcohol on the ships, and they sell those fake shampoo bottles and all that shit. So I think a lot of people still do that, but if you get the drink package, there's no sense of even attempting to do that.
Right.
So and I know all of our group did. I think Rob did. Brian, I don't think you did. I just I like the convenience of it.
Right.
Because it's a pain in the balls signing for everything when you.
And I think it was like $79 a day or something. It came out
something like that.
So I mean, you have some of those fancy drinks, and it adds up fast. So that's why we said we might as well do it.
Plus, that includes your like if you like the crazy coffees and shit like that, and that includes soda because soda is not included in your thing, and you get the cups and you can get that also too. So
milkshakes at Johnny Rockets.
Milkshakes at Johnny Rockets are also included in your drink package. For anybody that did not know that, which that was a good little perk there. So let's get into the first day. I know when we got on the ship, Rob hung with us, and actually Rob K hung with us. We kind of hung in the promenade there a little bit with DJ Will kind of rocking out some good tunes and stuff like that. And then, I have the schedule in front of me, so we'll just go through the day, and I want to I'll read off as we go, and just jump in if you saw them or didn't see them. Before we go, did anybody check out any of the Q&As with the band, any bands on any day in the promenade? I know I didn't, and I know Rob didn't. Did Brian or Canadian Rob, have you guys checked any of those Q&As out at all on the ship?
So we checked out part of Quiet Riot, and that was only because my buddy Matt likes to do like stupid video stuff. So he's like, I've got a really dumb question I want to ask, and I want you to video it. So he literally gets up there and he asks like, hey, have you guys noticed that, since your career's gone on that you're still able to get the same quality as Snatch? So I literally have video of this,
good Lord.
And they shut it down right away. I think it was not Florentine, the younger guy, the younger comedian. He was like, he wasn't happy that Matt asked that, but I've got the video of it now, so Matt can post it if he wants it. So it was just him being stupid. But yeah, that's all we caught. I didn't really have any interest in seeing it myself.
They probably had his picture of, do not hand this guy the microphone.
Yeah, basically.
For sure. Absolutely. Rob K., how about you?
Yeah, I saw part of the Glenn Hughes Q&A. Just watched it for a bit, a few questions, and then I carried on. I walked by the Quiet Riot and watched part of that. I missed that question of your buddies there, Brian. I'm sure I would have remembered that. And then when I was in the lineup for the one of the photo shoots, I saw the Armored Saint one.
Okay. We kind of did witness, like, saw one because we were in the sports bar when Eddie Trunk was doing his show. And actually, Rob and Richie, I think, are on Eddie Trunk's page because they're like right behind where they took the picture, and it was with John Bush and Joey Vera from Armored Saint and Steve Harris too. So if you see the guys in the background, that's those guys. And yeah, like none of us checked out any of those because really, like, there wasn't any time to do it. Really, like, we didn't have time to do shit. Quiet Riot, I think they came on a little bit late. They played the theater at, their time slot was 1:45. I think they were on somewhat late, but not too bad. Did any of you guys catch Quiet Riot?
No, I did not.
I photobombed.
Oh, there you go.
Mark Slaughter when Eddie Trunk was playing. That's when Eddie Trunk was interviewing Mark Slaughter. I got a little photobombed him, and I had him behind me. So we did hear part of the Eddie Trunk interview.
Did you check out Quiet Riot at all or no?
Just the pool, not the first day.
Oh, the pool deck? Okay.
Pool deck, yeah.
Rob K., how about you?
I did not see Quiet Riot the first show, no. I'd seen them in Vancouver like a month or a couple weeks before the
okay, that's right. I remember you saying that. And I'm sure probably, Rob, and it's funny because I'm saying Rob K., but actually Berto was actually Rob K. as well, but you guys know who I mean. So, April Wine was next. Rob K., you definitely had to catch these guys, right?
I definitely did, yeah. I thought it was a great show. Good song selection. Brian Greenway, he wasn't an original member. He's been there since 76, and they've been recording since 71. But he was the oldest member there. He plays without a pick,
right.
And I thought he kind of different than Richie Kotzen does, but It's still pretty cool to watch.
It was amazing, yeah. But I don't know if I caught him there or if I caught him in the theater, because I only saw them once.
I think it was a theater.
I think I saw them in the theater.
I think it was later on, yeah.
And they sounded really good.
Brian, did you catch them at all?
Yeah, I caught them more just for an aspect of I kind of wanted to understand what was going on to get to Studio B and what it looked like and all that, being a newbie and knowing I was going to want to go see Armored Saint. So I literally walked in as they're playing their biggest song, Just Between You and Me. And they sounded great. I just kind of wasn't in – I think they're actually a really good band. I just sort of wasn't in the mood to sit there and just kind of be inside like that when I just got on the ship. I wanted to keep sort of exploring around and this and that. So that was kind of more why I didn't stay.
Well, okay. That's definitely fair enough. Did anybody participate in the sail away photo? I know we missed that because I think
they didn't do it. They ended up moving it later, remember? I don't even think they did it at all. They moved it to that final day, I thought.
Oh, did they? I know they did it at some point because there was the picture of them, and then Izzy and I don't want to say maybe DJ Will were shooting the confetti guns off on the side, but I'm gonna have to look that up. Good point. That may have been on the last day too.
Yeah, I think he either moved it to the last day or he moved it to that night because he was like, we couldn't do it for whatever reason earlier. I remember that pretty specifically. I don't know which day it was.
All right, I'll have to look that one up.
I thought it was because the pool cage hadn't been built yet.
Yep.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yeah, because I know Rob and Richie had gone up to check out. I mean, we gone up a couple times too, and it's funny too because like you would think that after 12 years of doing this that they would be used to okay, it takes us this long to build a stage, so like why schedule, because we've had cruises where there's the band, it was actually supposed to be a sail away show where you were literally pulling out of a port and the band is playing. I think the only year I can recall that happened was when Bullet Boys were on there. They were the surprise sail away band, and it actually was done then. So I don't know what has changed from then to now, but like they were not even fucking close to being ready to roll out for that. And this is 2 years in a row that literally the sail away band played on the final day of the cruise. Mm-hmm. So
but didn't you say though, Steve? Didn't you say that? Because I thought from before that part of those pools were actually open. So this was this a bigger stage or more in a different spot?
No, it's in the same spot, which I think is weird too because I want to say it was last year when we were getting off the ship. There was going to be some other kind of music cruise on that ship, and like you guys know where the stage is, so like you're kind of standing in the middle and you're looking towards the side of the ship where the stage is. Now on the Kiss cruise and the cruise after the one we were on last year, if you turn towards the back of the ship, either the back or towards the front of the ship, the stage is like parallel with how the ship runs. It's not on the side. It's in the front portion. So I don't know why for Monsters of Rock cruise they do that, because even all the years of the Kiss cruise, the if you took the stage and moved it like from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, that's where the stage was. So, and I don't know why they do that, because it seems like there's more, because there was always more room on the pool deck of the Kiss cruise stage than there was on the Monsters of Rock cruise stage, and the Kiss cruise boat is smaller than the Monsters of Rock cruise boat. So I don't know what the thought process is, why it's like that, but because like when we got on the ship, they did not even have the pool covered. No. So they were like, I don't know, God only knows what the logistics are of that, or how it gets screwed up or whatever, but like they were like way behind the 8 ball. So Firehouse was kind of axed for that day. I think they played like 2 days later than they played the final day. And Studio B, Armored Saint, they ran just a little bit late. They weren't, significantly late. We were at that show. Rob, I know you caught that. Brian, did you catch Armored Saint?
Yeah, I did. That was like they were one of the kind of pushed me over the edge to go to on this. So I'm like, you know what? And thank God we did, right?
Yep.
Thank God we went to that first show.
Exactly.
Because we all know what happened at the very end while Winger was kind of still up there. Yeah, man, I caught them. I thought they sounded amazing. I thought my only thing that I did wrong, and I learned this after that show, was we were on the right side. So you're kind of having to turn your head. It's still a great view, but I learned for all my other Studio B shows, I basically was facing straight ahead at the end of, if you want to call that the dance floor or whatever, where people stand, So for all my other Studio Bs, I'm like, went down there and got like the second or third row right there, and it was like a lot better to look straight on. But man, I mean, John sounded great. The band sounded great. I did those last couple albums. I don't know about you guys, but I think the last 2 albums are phenomenal.
Killer.
I wish we could have got a little bit more of that, but I know they're limited for time. I thought they had a pretty decent crowd too. I was kind of worried like how many people might show up, but I thought they had a good crowd.
Yeah, I thought they had a great crowd too. Oh yeah. What'd you think?
I thought they were great, and that was the first time I've ever seen them, and they sounded great. I thought they had a good crowd too. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good.
Rob K.
Yeah, I definitely was there.
You were with us, I think.
Possible. I was tired. John Bush was great, and you mentioned it on the recap, Steve, but he announced his displeasure of certain bands not changing the sets on the cruise. So I thought that was cool. Yeah. But yeah, they were fantastic.
Yeah, they were a great band. They were a band that I never thought we'd get to see, and I think that was like the 4th time I've seen them. We've seen them with Wasp on the last tour, and then we saw them in New York City a couple times. So great band. Rare Hair, anybody catch them on the first show?
No.
No? Okay. How about Joe Satriani?
Not for me either. I think I was eating at that time.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, if you look at the schedule, you have a block of, even if you had Firehouse, between 5:15 and, schedule-wise in quotations, 8:15, you would have had Firehouse, Armored Saint, Rare Hair, Joe Satriani, Black and Blue. So, I mean, that's like a massive block of bands that I would want to see. I did not see one note of Joe Satriani on the whole cruise. We'll talk about the second show later. And Black and Blue. Brian, did you catch them at all on the first show? I know they were like over an hour and a half late.
Yeah, well, one thing we know, it did not start at 8:15, no matter what the program here says.
It did not even close.
Oh my God, I felt so bad for those guys, and I think I posted on after you guys did your first podcast that there's just zero excuse for those guys to come out there and have to deal with an absolutely horrible sounding PA. Right. Terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they come out with their biggest hit right away, and no one can even understand what the singer's even singing. The guitars are cutting in and out.
Yeah.
I just there's no excuse for it. I mean, they got totally hosed. I think it just wasn't fair. And they were running so goddamn late that we were like, all right, we need to get on our horse and get over here because Queensryche is coming. That's how freaking late it was. I don't even think we could have stayed much to see him if we wanted to.
Yeah. Even do you remember Jamie St. James came out and he said, "Oh, we're the guinea pigs that get to test out the pool stage first." And they did. They got boned.
They did.
They got boned sound-wise, everything. It was so late. It would have been a lot better if they did it. If they, had a sound check ahead of them and everything. They were the guinea pigs.
Because I know we bailed there early. Because I know Richie was with me and Rob K was with me to go to the Queensryche show. So we left at Black and Blue. So because they were so late, I mean, Queensryche wasn't supposed to be till 9:45. I think they started a little bit late, but that's a whole other story with the fucking bullshit VIP stuff that I ranted about on the last show. I'm gonna try to keep my composure on this one. But so I know myself, Rob K, and Richie waited. Rob, did you catch Queensryche at all?
Yes. They were fantastic. We went to Queensryche.
Brian.
Oh yeah, I was not missing that. I had to deal with the same bullshit. So I think, well, you had it worse than me. I was getting in there as they were about halfway into the Operation Mindcrime, the opener. And I mean, Queensryche is it's a machine. There may be 3 bands out there that can go out and sound the way they do. I know we've only got 2 original members, but my God, Todd Latore. I mean, you close your eyes when they bust out something off of the Warning, and you don't really know it's not Tate singing. I mean, it's just it's a band you have to see every time. I mean, they're coming here again, playing the EP and the Warning, I think its entirety, and I'm like, I probably shouldn't spend the money, but I don't know how I can miss that show.
Yeah, they're playing, I think, right, they're playing May 1st, I think they're playing down at maybe about 2.5 hours from us, down by Philly.
Yep.
So I may hit that one, too, and Saxon's the next night up here, too. So, yeah, fantastic shows. Rob K., your impressions of Queensryche?
Yeah, they were one of the bands that I slated to see both shows, and I knew they would play different sets. I knew they'd be amazing, and they are. Like everything Brian said, totally agree with that.
All right. Now I see. In between there, Crash Diet was in Studio Beat It. No one probably caught them, right? Because they were probably in between Black and Blue and Queensryche. So I'll just kind of skip them. Anybody for Paradise Kitty? That was during Queensryche too.
No.
And Brian, I know that I spoke to you about you do a dueling piano thing as well. Did you catch that first one that night after Queensryche?
Well, we tried to, and I don't know if you guys walked by there. It was just, I mean, it was running late for starters. I could tell Tyson was pretty frustrated. I mean, they have him set up like basically in the middle of where people are sitting over there. I think Monsters are, well, it's a different ship next year, I guess, but absolutely horrible setup. Like that should be for sure in the Star Lounge, in my opinion, or at least have some kind of a stage, because the setup there was horrible. It was running late. I mean, it was packed to the gills. Everyone wanted to see it, but it was like, I think I came back maybe after they got going to try to see a song, but it was so packed over there, forget about getting a drink, and you really couldn't see anything.
Yeah, that's it. They've had that in that lounge every time we've gone, and that is a tough spot, because that's a hub. It's like right where the theater gets out. So whether there's people lined up to go in or a show getting out, you get that total flood of people, and I mean, if you can get a table, that's great, but just to stop and kind of hang out, you kind of don't, because you're kind of swept along by the tide of people, either going into a show or coming out.
Yeah.
And those guys are talented too, and because we've caught a little bit of them on other cruises, but I mean, this one was a no-go just due to the schedule, but and it is a good show. Those guys are friggin' fantastic, and Brian, I wish that you had got a chance to play with those guys, but I could absolutely see how it didn't happen just because of the way that goes down.
Yeah, I didn't really want to bother him. I don't know him that well, I did get to, well, we can go into this later if you want. I did actually get to play his keyboard for the Cruiser Jam, so that was cool. And I was able to, when they did the second piano show, actually see a couple songs, so that was nice.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, cool. Spread Eagle at the pool stage. Anybody catch them?
I want to say we heard a couple songs.
I didn't catch that at all.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I caught a couple songs walking by. I think Was I on my way to Bad Marriage maybe, or maybe Food Again? I don't know, but there's someone I didn't know much about, and they were all right. But a couple songs I watched didn't blow me away either. So
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Brian, anything for Spread Eagle?
I caught the second show. If you want, we can talk about it then
Okay.
if you want.
Yep. Bad Marriage is Studio B. I did catch them. I'm gonna say. I'm not sure who. I'm not.
I might have been there.
The
It's
end of the
kind
nights
a
get
blur.
kind of fuzzy.
They get fuzzy at the end of the night. Yes, they do.
Yeah. So, Robert, Brian, how about you guys? Any Bad Marriage? I mean, the band.
Yeah. Well, the first part, yes. The band, no. Yeah, no. I saw a little bit of the second show on the pool, but did not see day one.
Rob, how about you? Bad Marriage?
yeah, I went and saw them. The first 4 or 5 songs or so, I thought they were all right. 3 guitar players and the Tesla guys in there. Tommy.
Oh, Tommy Skio, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
kind of like
never
a.
pronounced that right.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool to see. Did he stand out? They were all right, you know.
They weren't
I
bad.
don't think I'd be running to buy a CD yet, but maybe I should have watched the whole show.
Yeah, the stage seems kind of crowded for those guys, for the other bands that play. But not bad, though. Karaoke, we went to karaoke. That was the night we went to karaoke.
Yeah.
It was fucking jammed up there.
Jam-packed.
So you didn't last long at all.
No, I was there 5 minutes, and I said, this is crazy. I got to get out of here. This is a super spreader. I am out. You were literally just squashed with people. And I'm like, this is not fun. I'm going. And
Yeah.
I bailed, and I went to bed. I'm like,
Yeah, I
I'm
stayed
going.
there and bullshitted for a little bit, but it was just crazy.
It was-
Robert, Brian, you guys go into that at all?
No, I had heard the horror stories of how crowded it was likely going to be, and I was pretty damn beat from my day one and still recovering from my crap, so I was kind of about done by that point.
All right. Well, so I guess Rob and Brian are out for Tough. So Rob K, did you catch Tough at all?
I did. My roommate Phil from Alabama and his friends, we kind of planned to see it together. So I left Bad Marriage early to go see him. I saw the whole show. Again, a band that I've heard a lot about, but didn't really know any of the songs, and they were all right. You know.
Yeah, I didn't get to check them because by the time we got out of karaoke, I think we just went down to the casino bar and we just kind of hung out there for a while. All right, day 2.
Thereafter.
Yeah, no, sure, yeah, for sure. Day 2, we were at sea, so it was a full day of stuff. Start out with Joe Hoekstra's Bloody Mary Hangover Jam. Anybody attend that?
I saw a little bit of it just at the start. I don't know if he did an electric portion later, but it was basically acoustic at the beginning. Had a couple shots of those Bloody Marys, and I thought it was all right. But that morning, I was feeling a little fuzzy, and I think I went up on the boat and grabbed a deck chair and just relaxed for a half hour or so.
Yeah, that you definitely need to recharge a little bit there. I know I did the painting thing. Did anybody else do any of the painting things?
No.
No.
Okay, I'll just skip over them. Good. Cooking with the Rock Stars, they had in Studio B. I did catch unwittingly caught a little bit of that because they ran late and they interfered with Ted Poley. So I mean they were really late then because that started 11:15 and Ted Poley wasn't until like 1 o'clock. Toledo on the pool stage. Anybody catch them?
No.
Nope.
Rob, we've seen them on the Kiss Cruise before.
Saw them on the Kiss Cruise. They were pretty good.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
They were different.
They were one that I would have, if time permitting, I would have definitely wanted to see them. My first activity of the day was the Pat Travers band in the theater. I love Pat Travers. Anybody else catch him in the theater?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Yeah. I have seen him before, and he's steady. He's good every time. I love his introduction. I'm Pat Travers. This is my band, and we're here to kick your ass. All right.
What more do you need to say?
And that bass player, David something.
Pacheris or something
He's
like
a
that?
monster on the bass.
Oh, he was killer. Brian, did you catch the show at all or no?
No, I didn't. I kind of wish I had seen a little bit of either of the Pat Travers, but it's just one of the ones I didn't make it to.
All right. So none of us were VIPs. We'll skip that. Anybody get their book signed by Mark Weiss?
We were down there. Me and Richie were down in that Irish pub hanging out, and we heard the interview then they were talking to him. I think Sirius XM were talking to him or somebody like that. So we kind of caught the back of his head and people, buying his book and stuff like that. But
did you guys buy it then, or
no,
anybody?
we didn't buy it. We kind of glanced at it, but we didn't buy it or nothing.
Yeah, just go back through your old Hip Raiders and Circus. You can see all his pictures
pretty
there.
much. There was,
So first thing that we saw was, that I saw anyways, Ted Poley in Studio B, and that was held up for the end of the Cooking with the Stars. So anybody else catch Ted Poley in Studio B?
Yeah, the Cooking Stars thing was, going late, like you said. And they said, it's going to be a few minutes, or whatever. So I'm sitting there waiting. And no one, it's not like they were in a hurry to get out of there.
No.
And I thought, geez, this is going to be at least another half hour. So I left.
Okay.
I never saw Ted, which was one of my disappointments.
Yeah, Ted was cool. We saw him. And for a guy that was hobbling around like he needed a wheelchair in the airport and did that kick-ass show at the pre-party, during the Studio B show, he came through the crowd. Yep. He literally went on the one side all the way up the top of the steps, came down through the crowd, and then came right up by us on the other side of the stage. So, I mean, he's a gamer. He is a freaking gamer.
He was bringing it.
Absolutely. So, after Ted Poley, Arbor St. Q&A, no one did that. Dangerous Toys on the pool stage, and Y&T pretty much played at the same time. I think Y&T actually... they started within 15 minutes of another. I think they were pretty close to being on time. Anybody catch either Dangerous Toys and or Y&T for their second show?
So I caught Dangerous Toys. My cabin mates, my buddy Paul's a drummer he lives in LA. Huge, massive Dangerous Toys fan. I've always kind of been on the fence, but I tell you what, man, I thought they sounded absolutely awesome. And I don't know if anyone's going to think I'm insane here, but I truly think the best place to see any show on that ship is the pool stage. Get up there and get over where that railing is where you can lean back. If you don't feel like standing, you can kind of at least lean against that thing. I mean, that is the truest rock experience. And short of that first horrible Black and Blue, to me, that every band I saw there, I thought sounded great. I thought the sound was perfect. Like, they dialed it in. I don't think there's a better place to see the band and just truly experience it than that pool stage for me personally. And I thought they did a great job.
All right. Now that you said that, because that was one of my questions for the end. So before we go on any further, Rob, what was your favorite venue on the whole cruise?
The pool. I agree with Brian that the pool stage is the best vibe. Like, you feel like you're at that concert. It's an outdoor thing. But I think sound-wise, favorite for sound was the theater, because the acoustics were so good in there that I enjoyed the theater sound-wise.
All right, so if you had your favorite band, where would you rather see them, the pool stage or the theater?
Ooh, probably the theater, just because the sound is so much better.
Okay. Rob K., how about you? What's your thoughts on that?
American Rob there probably described it pretty good, but I would go with the pool stage. Every show I saw there, other than the Black and Blue, I enjoyed. And it seemed like the bands had, more excitement, energy
fun,
on that stage than they did in the theater.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of torn. I think for me it depends on what band it is. I enjoyed. I loved seeing Queensryche on the pool deck, because when they played on the Kiss Cruise, they played both of their shows on the pool deck. It was fucking fantastic.
It was awesome.
And then on this cruise, I saw Queensryche at the pool stage. I wasn't even feeling good. I was like, fuck it, I'm just going. I was right up front for that. And actually, a guy posted videos that I was watching on YouTube today of Queensryche's pool stage show. I was right in front of him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm like, that angle looks familiar. And I can see my hands up in front of him.
That's awesome.
So it was literally from my view.
That's so cool.
But you know what? For bands that aren't as big, Armored Saint, except Lizzie Borden,
right.
I think friggin' Studio B was perfect for those bands.
Right.
It was like seeing them in a big club.
Yeah.
You can get, you can sit down if you want. You can get up close if you want. But I do agree that the pool stage for a really good band has a great vibe up there.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of torn. And I mean, the only really bad venue to see a band is the fucking Star Lounge. It sucks seeing a band in there. That's you know what I mean. All the other ones have their pluses and minuses. So there's no really bad place besides the Star Lounge to see a band, unless you're right within the first 5 people in the Star Lounge. Otherwise, you could just maybe see the top of the cymbals and the top of the artist's head. I'm glad you said that, Brian, because I write shit down at the bottom and I usually forget about it. So I was able to X that out pretty quick. So Canadian Rob, how about you? Dangerous Toys, Y&T, one or both?
So what happened was I left Ted Poley and I'm walking in the promenade and I ran into BC and Chris, and I was humming and hawing about the Ace photo experience with April Wine Extreme Satriani, and Chris pointed out, hey, there's a lineup already, you should get in now. And I'm not a guy who's going to disobey Chris, so that's what I did, and stood in there for a couple hours, and it sounds bad, but you were talking with the people around you, met some cool people. The guy with the drinks was 5 steps away. So I did the photo experience, and then once that was done, I booted it to the theater and caught the last 3-4 songs of Y&T.
All right. How about you, Berto?
I think we did Y&T for that. I don't think because Dangerous Toys, I only saw them on the pool deck. I didn't see them.
Well, they were on the pool deck.
This was the pool deck?
Yeah.
Yeah, but did they play the pool twice?
No, I think their second show. I think their second show was in the Studio B.
Oh, okay. Well, I must have been there then.
All right.
We watched Dangerous Toys on the pool deck.
Because I know, I want to say, because we went up behind Dangerous Toys.
Yes.
Right on the pool deck.
Yep.
But I left about halfway through, about 4 or 5 songs into Y&T, because I really thought they were going to play the same set. They switched out 3 songs. They did. They played Contagious,
which I love,
and
that song.
which I literally was like walking to the thing, and Spoonie's like, "Oh, they're playing Contagious." I'm like, "Fuck!" But and they played "I Believe in You," and they ended with "Rescue Me." So they kind of changed it up at the end. So I did catch some of both. Dangerous Toys. What did you think of Dangerous Toys, Rob?
I thought they were great. They were really good. Better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen them before. That was the first time I saw them. And they were really good. They're just that old, kind of like a fun rock and roll band just to see, like
a southern hard rock band.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And they brought it.
And that's how it was with Jason McMaster singing, because he sang for Dirty Looks last year on the cruise, on the pool stage, and I'll tell you what, they kicked ass, and he's the great pinch singer for bands. I got to see him like 3 times last year. Treat. Anybody catch Treat in Studio B after that?
I did.
Oh, how was that?
That was one of my bucket list bands. Sorry if I jumped on someone else there.
No, you're good.
Yeah, that was one of my bucket lists. When I saw they were on there, I could, first thing I did was go to Spotify, and I don't know how much you guys listen to them. Their last album, Endgame, man, I mean, there's not a skipper on there, start to finish. It's like a, Scorpions with keyboards. Love It First Thing, maybe with some keyboards. I mean, it's just hooks for days. The only thing that bummed me out was they only played 2 songs from that. And I didn't know that much of their other catalog, but I did try to find some like set lists online to see what they were playing, and I thought they sounded great.
Yeah, they were a band that I wanted to catch, but I just didn't get to see them because they played 1 show last year, and then they got rained out for the second one, which I was planning on going up to the second one. It was actually kind of like Armin saying, on the way up to it, and then boom, hey, they're canceled because of the rain. And it wasn't like the end of the night. It was like one of them that they had to cancel them because then the other bands would have been backed up as well on the pool stage, so kind of missed them. Rob K., you didn't catch Treat, did you?
So both shows were in Studio B, and I caught part of one of them, but I don't remember which day.
Okay, all right.
When I saw it, again, about 4 or 5 songs or so, I really liked. And they're a band that I think I want to delve deeper into.
All right. Darkness, anybody catch them on the pool stage?
I did.
I saw 1 or 2 songs on the way to something else.
Would you?
Which songs, I don't know, but I thought they were a good live band, like energetic and stuff, and it kind of makes me wish I gave them more of a chance.
All right.
Yeah, I thought they were awesome. Again, my cabin mates, my buddy Paul, his wife Brittany came, and she's a huge Justin Hawkins fan. And I'll do a quick story here. You guys know that wave pool thing they have at the very end of the ship?
Yeah.
You've seen that where you can like surf or whatever? It's like attempt to surf. So he was down there with his girlfriend, and I see him stand there, and I'm like, wait, so I see that? Because he's got this big giant question mark tattoo, and I'm like, I think that's Justin Hawkins. So I started taking a couple pictures, and his girlfriend turns around. I was like, really? You can't let him have some time to himself? And I was like, I just took a picture, I didn't do anything. And meanwhile, he's out there surfing and stuff, and he comes over and dries off, and he's like, well, I said, hey, man, I'm sorry I took a picture. She got all mad at me. I'm sorry. I was trying to be as nice about it. He's like, oh, she's like my bodyguard. And he let me take a selfie with him. So he was super cool about it. So it ended up being fine. So the whole time I'm like texting my friend. I'm like, dude, you better get Brittany down here immediately. And I think they were way too far at the end of the boat. She was so mad that she got, because he was down there doing that surfing thing for a good 20 minutes. And the irony is there's a guy next to me literally videoing him doing it the entire time. And she didn't say shit to this guy.
She yelled at you. Yeah.
She yelled at me, but it's okay. I mean, I get it. Whatever.
All right, KK's Priest, and in the theater, I know.
Yeah, we were there.
American Rob,
Yes.
Canadian Rob, and myself were there. Canadian Rob, you're KK Priest. What'd you think there?
I didn't see him in the theater.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I thought you were with us. Oh, all right. How about you?
We stood up at the top.
We were up at the top. Yeah. How about you?
Oh, it was fantastic. Couple songs I wasn't sure of. I didn't know them, but they were good. And then when they broke out a couple of those Priest songs, I was like, then I went over to get another drink, and they started playing Green Malalushi, and I was like, oh my god. So I ran back. I'm like, hurry up, make my drink. I wanted to say to the bartender, hurry up, but I didn't. I waited it out, and then I ran back, and then, but they were awesome. It was great. It was really good.
Brian, did you catch them?
No, I didn't. And not to be a name dropper, I did have the chance to. One of my old bands actually opened for his original band, Winter's Bane, back here at the Old Akron Agora in like 1991. I really want to like KK's Priest. I just don't like the songs. I wish I'd at least gone to see some of the Priest stuff at the end of it, but I don't know. I just don't hear the great riffs and melodies in there. It's a little too much over the top for me.
I'll tell you what, though, they did translate the KK Priest songs did translate a lot better live than on the album.
Okay.
It was more raw, more stripped down. You didn't have the
100%.
the 8,000 layers of Ripper's vocals in there.
Okay.
Translated like 100% better. I wish you had gotten a chance to see them, because I think that would have changed your mind for them. Just the rawness of it definitely put it over the edge. And I know that me, BC, Granza, and I think Rob, I think you too, I think we left towards the end of KK's Priest because they were just doing like Breaking the Law, Living After Midnight. Right. So we wanted to make sure we got a good spot down in Studio
Accept.
B for Accept.
Yes.
And what'd you think of Accept?
Oh my God. They were fantastic. Probably favorite show on the boat. It was just, they have it dialed perfectly in. Like, perfect. Like, Wolf is running that show, and he has everybody hitting their marks, doing what they got to do. It was perfect. It was awesome. And then when they brought those old songs, Princess of the Dawn and stuff like
Fast
that
as a
back.
Shark.
Fast as a Shark. I was like, oh my mind was blown, because I saw them open for Kiss, my first Kiss show for the Lick It Up tour. And it was, naturally it was with Udo, but it was just bringing back those songs again, was just like, brought me back to those days. It was fantastic.
Brian, did you catch these guys?
So I saw the second show. Did not see the first one.
Okay. Rob K, I know you were there, right?
I was there for the first show. Awesome. They were one of my must-sees at least once. I was super psyched that they did Midnight Mover. I didn't expect that one. I expected some old ones. The new songs, the Mark Canillo, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, his era stuff, they were fantastic live.
Yeah.
It was one of the best shows on the boat.
Yeah, and
Not my favorite, but one of the best.
okay, and that was probably the longest show on the whole cruise. They played for like a good hour and 45 minutes, and all the other bands got like an hour set. So they played for like an hour and 45 minutes.
I didn't even notice that because it was so good.
Yep, which was absolutely fantastic. My favorite show of the boat of the whole cruise. And Dylan is probably going to kill me, but we're going to also do a gem song. But we are going to play the new Accept song from the new album coming out, Humanoid, and Dylan's going to play it right now. And we're going to come right back and get right back into day number 2.
I stand alone.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed Humanoid from the new Accept album that is coming out in the beginning of April, I believe. And so definitely check that out. So hope you guys enjoyed the song. We had the live debut of that song on Monsters of Rock Cruise, the first show in Studio B, which was fantastic. And after that, I think we kind of all went, we're like shot after that. We kind of went to get something to eat. And Tough played again on the Star Lounge. Anybody catch that? Did anybody catch any shows in the Star Lounge?
I did. I went to see them mainly because I wanted to support Billy Morris. He's from Cleveland, and he's kind of friends with my piano buddy Matt, who was there with me, and he's playing guitar for them. Billy's played with a lot of people, Warrant, Paul Gilbert, I think. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the name, but
yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
I actually thought it was, I didn't really know anything about Tough other than their hit song, and those guys came out, I think it was 91. They were literally like, you couldn't have been any later to try to get, what I mean? I mean, 2 years earlier, they're at least going to be Firehouse level, because I think Firehouse is like 89, 90. But yeah, they were just too late. I actually thought they put on a hell of a show. I know that's not a great place to see a show, but I just kind of felt like I was back in a sweaty rock club in like 1989, kind of seeing a band that was just sort of hungry, and, it wasn't packed or anything, and I don't know, maybe there were 60, 70 people there, but the people that were up there, we stood right in front of the stage. We were all into it, and I kind of went back when I got home, and I started listening to some of the stuff, and I actually kind of dig it. I mean, they're probably a band that a lot of people make fun of or whatever, but I still enjoyed it. I thought they had good songs.
All right, cool. Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people, and if they do play on there again, I would definitely have to catch them. Mm-hmm. After that, Pool Stage, Enough's Enough. I unfortunately did not see them play Note on the Ship. I really liked them. I just didn't get a chance to see them. Anybody catch them on the Pool Stage?
I did. I left Tough a little bit early to go see them, and at least I caught the first show, I guess. I'm just so annoyed because Enough's Enough. Look, just come out and hammer the crap out of your first 3 albums. Give me your Heaven and Hell. Give me your hits. Give me your Black Rain, your Superstitious, your Strength, we didn't even get Mother's Eyes. The only thing we got off the second album was Baby Loves You. They start out with the Beatles thing, the Magical Mystery Tour, which fine. I actually think that Beatles thing they did was pretty cool, but man, you only got 1 hour, and then they ended with Get By With a Little Help From My Friends, and I left when they started that because to me that was just a hack. Ugh. Let's kill time for 5 minutes, and you guys have the songs,
right?
Just hammer the crap out of those first 2 albums. For the diehards that are there, that spent the money, that are standing there, skipping all the other stuff to see you guys, and they didn't do it, and I was kind of pissed off, but I wasn't shocked either.
Great points, because when we saw them on the Kiss Cruise, they didn't have that Beatles stuff out, so they did that on those Kiss Cruises.
Right.
So that sucks. Rob K, did you catch those Enough's Enough and all there Pool Stage?
Not on the Pool Stage, no.
All right. First Ace show. Okay. My Ace friend here. Yes. Were you at that?
I was definitely there. It was good. The sound was, pretty good compared to the show later. But I enjoyed it. I, popped up and I sat in a seat there, just checked it out, watched like kind of towards the back. But I was at the top, but I was kind of centered so I can get a good sound wise. And he was on compared to the next time. He was definitely sang better, sounded good. It was good. It wasn't fantastic, but it was a good show, especially compared to the second time he played.
All right, Rob, did you catch this one?
I did. This was another must-see for me, and I really wanted to see the first show. You hear things about him, right? So, there was some doubt whether he would even make the ship at some point. And I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to see him, I'm going to see the first show, just in case there isn't a second.
Right.
And I loved the show.
Yeah.
It was everything I kind of expected him to be, and he made me laugh. Sometimes intentionally. The band behind him was fantastic. I loved when he did Rock Soldiers because that's one I wasn't expecting. Yeah, I was happy with that first show. Yes, there were moments that you could, criticize and stuff like that. But I had fun at that show.
Have you ever seen him before?
Not solo, no.
Oh, okay. Because I'm basing this show off of like we saw him
October,
and he was like spot on, fantastic, didn't miss a beat. So this one it was good. I'm not saying it was bad, but it was a little bit better in October, but not by much. But I've seen Ace solo probably 28 times, and a lot of it probably 10 times with his new band.
Right.
But and sometimes he's spot on, and I mean it was nice he did 10,000 volts. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That he brought that. So he played some good tunes. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I went to the show not knowing what to expect because you kind of had the sense that anything could happen.
Right.
And I was happy with how it turned out.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm glad.
Brian, did you catch Ace at all or
For
no?
what it could be.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the sorry guys. I'm gonna be the turd of the punch bowl here. The last time I saw Ace was sometime this bar down in Cleveland in the flats. I think 93, 94. So before I think they did the reunion, and it was his typical. He came on an hour and a half late or something. I think he was in the heyday of his really bad addiction then too. But I don't know. I do not need to see Ace Frehley come out and play Cold Gin, and I sure as hell don't need him to play Rock and Roll All Night.
True.
I mean, that's hack cover band crap to me, and I know his band is awesome, and you can see them trying to keep him on schedule. After every song, he goes up and does that riff on the thing, and I don't know. I was disappointed. Because of what Enough's Enough that did, I guess I missed. So I missed Shock Me. I think I came in when they were doing Rock Soldiers. What was that, about the third or fourth song maybe?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so I came in when he was doing that, and I thought that sounded okay. But then, I don't know, you just get those long pauses where everyone's standing around like waiting for Ace, and it's just it's sort of that Guns N' Roses feel from old where it's like, okay, is anybody's time like worth anything? It wasn't to that degree, I know, but it just annoyed me. I think I was just more annoyed with the material. You have so many damn solo albums.
Yeah.
Hell, even like his covers albums. I think that stuff is. I'd almost rather hear him play those than play Rock and Roll All Night or Cold Gin.
Exactly. And
they don't need to do Love Gun. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Love Gun. Why
we don't
Detroit
need
Rock
that
City.
shit,
Yeah.
If Ace didn't sing on it, we do not need to hear it, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even if he did like Into the Night, that was like a semi-hit for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like stuff from he doesn't do shit for. The only song he does is Rock Soldiers from Frehley's Comic. That's it.
Even if they let Jeremy sing some of the Aces songs,
I know
that's fine too. But play the Ace songs, not the Kiss songs.
It's just.
I mean, I put money on. I guarantee you, he doesn't know how to play probably 99% of his catalog. He couldn't play one song off that new album unless they had the chords right written out for him. I mean, that's I think that's just where he is right now, unfortunately.
Because I know during that we myself and Granza, we went right up to the Star Lounge to save seats for the comedy show for punchlines and backlines with Courtney, Izzy, and the Jeff Scott Soto did it there, and then it was Florentine and Jameson as well. Eddie Trunk talked for a little bit, so the whole story's on our recap, so I won't get into that. So that's why we missed the first Ace show. Anybody catch British Lion? No. Okay. How about Faster Pussycat? Anybody? Pool stage.
I did. I saw the whole show, and I tell you what, I was very, very pleasantly surprised. I thought they rocked the shit out of that place. They sounded awesome.
I saw part of it. I was with you guys, though.
Yeah.
We watched the first 4 or 5 songs or so. I thought they were great. I would have been happy to stay. And you guys thought, well, let's go see Heat in the theater. And,
right.
Well, I was happy with that, too. So,
Yep.
Yeah, because
that's sort of my story there.
And for that being our fourth Monsters of Rock cruise, that's the first time we've ever seen Faster Pussycat play one note on a ship. Because they were always a band that we never had an opportunity to go see because someone else was always playing. So I wanted to make sure that I caught some of them. And I liked them. I liked them. I thought they were fantastic. I thought and you were right, Rob, I thought they sounded good. But we did get to see them later on, too. So They were a good one. And so then Rob alluded to it as well. Heat we saw in the theater. And Rob, do you remember that one or not?
Yeah. I don't remember a lot. That's the guy
The Bruce Dickinson guy.
Yeah, but he had pants on that
He
night,
had pants.
right?
He had his Power Slave.
But I
wear
thought
on.
they were good. I thought they were a good rockin' band. Like I thought they were worth checking out more. You know, I'll dive deeper into them. I thought they were good.
Rob K.
Yeah, I thought the songs were great. Now, I loved them, but I never saw them with Eric Grunwald.
Eric Grunwald, yep.
I never had that comparison, and my understanding is he was a better front man, but I was not disappointed, seeing him. Good songs, good energy. They played well.
Yeah, Brian, did you catch them?
Second show on the pool stage, I caught some of that, but no, I didn't see the theater one.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of happy that you guys didn't see them with Eric because they would have been ruined for you. But I can look into it, through your guys' eyes that hadn't seen them before. Great band, the songs are great. He's a good front man. I don't know if you guys noticed him wiping the fuck out into the drum riser during the show.
Yeah.
He was doing spinning around and shit.
Yep.
He wiped out.
Yep.
He was limping like a motherfucker the next day because we saw him in the buffet in the morning, and he was a hurting camper.
Yeah.
So all right. So then Hardcore Superstar played Studio B. Anybody grab that one?
No.
I don't think we did we?
Yeah, we did. We caught a little bit. I caught a little bit of it. I don't know if you were there or not.
I don't remember.
I did catch some of that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Brian, the Cruiser Jam, the Izzy's one, is this the one you participated in, or was it a different one?
No, I did the one that was on Monday.
Okay, all right, we will get to that. All right, so there's day 2 in the books. Day 3 we're going to do, and we're just going to kind of rotate through the days here. And Canadian Rob, give us your day 3.
So this is the one we're in Cozumel, right? Just
Yes.
to make sure I'm right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So I went into town. I'll tell you a quick little story. I walked through the tour stuff and then got into the town. Found a little outdoor restaurant by the ocean that had free Wi-Fi, so I had some tacos and mojitos, and I connected with Wi-Fi, connected with my wife, and I said, "How things going?" She said, "Good. It snowed here last night." So I sent her a picture of me in the ocean and my mojito, and I don't know if that made her happy or not.
Rub it in.
But then when I got back on the boat, I got back in time to see a little bit of Crash Diet in Studio B, and I liked them. Recognized a couple songs. Cocaine Cowboys was one. My understanding, it's a new singer, but I didn't know anything about that. Then I scooted over to the theater to see Enough's Enough. I saw about 5 songs, and 3 of them, 2 were Beatles covers and 1 was a Paul McCartney cover. And, they were all right, but after so many covers, I got tired and left and met up with, I know American Rob was there, but we saw Quiet Riot on the pool stage. I thought they were great, but mainly because of Rudy Sarzo. Man, that guy's just all over the place. And I can't believe he's 73 years old. Jizzy does all right on the vocals. Steve, you've mentioned, people just want to hear the songs, and I think you're right. And, Jizzy's voice isn't as powerful as Kevin DuBro's was. But we had fun, and then we headed over to Studio B to see April Wine again. This time, the second set, they did this song. It's kind of a deep cut, Big City Girls off the Nature of Beast album that I love. So I was super excited about that. We saw Eddie Jackson from Queensryche walk by, so we said a quick hi to him. After April Wine, I went and saw Richie Kotzen in the theater, and I was just amazed. I would say by far that was the highlight of the cruise for me, seeing that show. He was just incredible. And Sonny Pooney warned me that, he'll have a set list and he'll stray from it. And that's exactly what he did. After the first or second song, he goes, "Yeah, I'm not too good at these set lists," and veered off. But whatever he played was great. And when he jammed on the guitar, I was in awe. After Kotzen, Extreme at the pool stage, which was another wow moment. I got up on the first rails, and and just watching Nuno was incredible. They had I would say I was happy with their song selection, but just watching Nuno alone made it worth it for me. After that, what did I get to here? Oh, I didn't see anything until Glenn Hughes. No, I didn't see Glenn Hughes at the pool stage. Oh, after that, we went in the lineup for the Steve Harris British Lion photo experience, and that was a couple hours. But that was cool meeting him and getting an autograph. After Steve Harris, I booted it to the theater to catch the last bit of Soto. Saw the Yngwie Malmsteen medley. He seemed to do medleys for everything, which was kind of cool for someone like me who doesn't know the songs, but at some point I also wanted full songs as well. I don't know the name of the guitars, but I think he did pretty good with the Yngwie solos and stuff. And he ended it with a 70s soul disco kind of medley at the end that was, I would call it fun. After that, I didn't see, except the second time, Black and Blue at the pool stage. No, I didn't see that. I think the next thing I saw was Firehouse at the theater, which was like the last show. And I thought they were great. They had that stand-in singer. I don't know the name. I'm not what you call a deep Firehouse fan, but every song that I would say I wanted them to play, they played. And I thought the singer did great. A couple of times he looked a little unsure in his stage presence, but, you know, musically they sounded great, he sounded great, and no complaints. And then after that, I probably went to the casino bar and met up with you guys, or at the buffet or something.
Probably the casino bar.
All right. Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah. Brian, how was your day 3?
It wasn't too bad. I was starting to kind of feel sort of crappy by this time, so it wasn't quite as crazy of a thing, and I knew I was going to be doing the cruiser jam later. We did get off the boat, and literally 5 seconds after you get out of the port area, someone's, wanting to see if we want some Oxy. But my panel partner Matt's like, don't get it. I tried buying it here at the drugstore before. It's fake. So I was like, well, I wasn't going to buy it from the guy off the street anyway. So we just kind of putzed around there for about an hour or so. My main thing on the agenda over that day was basically just waiting around, getting some food, and waiting to see Extreme. And man, I think they came out. It's a Monster? Maybe it was the first song. I mean, they just came out and just absolutely crushed it. I mean, what a well-oiled machine they are. I know it's not the original drummer, but you'd have no idea how tight they are. I think they mentioned it on one of your shows before. Some issues with Gary's mic. I don't know, he kept fumbling around with the wireless on there, but other than that, it was cool. I think we don't need probably that long of a solo from Nuno when you already know the guy's one of the greatest guitar players in the world. I always just would rather have more songs.
Yep.
When you're already great, we don't need to see all that. And they came out, and remember they tried to do, whoever was there, they were going to sort of do an acoustic Wholehearted, and Nuno's like, well, this shit's not working, F it, let's just play or whatever.
Yep,
get back on the drums. That was kind of funny just watching that on the fly.
Yeah, because they had him set up, and then they said, fuck it.
Screw it. Get it out
it wasn't working. Nuno's like, I don't know, more on him later, but so yeah, that was a great show. And then I had to book it over to the Cruiser Jam. These things are always weird. I joined a Facebook group. I saw that there was this jam for people on the cruise, and I'm like, oh, cool. And just as I figured, not a single keyboard player in there, right? So I'm like, oh, that'd be easy pickings for me to get on a song or two. But, these things can always go one of two ways. It's like everyone's like, okay, I can do this, and you're thinking, man, you're going to get there, and it's going to be a clusterfuck. I'll tell you what, man, every single person up there was a pro. There was even some legit pros, like a couple guys from Enough's Enough were up there. Chad from Faster Pussycat played drums on a few. And I ended up playing Feels Like the First Time, Foreigner, and Lights Out in London using a Tyson's keyboard, which was, there's video of it. You can almost see my arm, But, this brings up a quick keyboard player point. Okay, I got to see him play with Faster Pussycat and with Enough's Enough. He doesn't have to stand in front of Chip or Tammy Down, but my God, but at least put him on the same frickin' stage. Move the damn thing over so you could see him up there. But I'm used to this kind of talk, being a keyboard guy. And then got over to Accept, actually, because I missed the first show, and I'm super pissed because one of you guys said they played Midnight Mover, which I know for a fact they did not play at this show.
Nope.
My only complaint was, and this may be more to do with me kind of feeling crappy, I felt like the high end was kind of tearing my head up. I want a little more thump in the low end, but it could have just been me and where I was sitting too. But I mean, yeah, great show, well-oiled machine, and hearing like Restless and Wild was great. Princess of the Dawn, obviously, and like by the time I got done with Accept, I was freaking done for the night. So I had every intention of trying to see Firehouse with my cabin mates, and I'm like, there's just no way. I went back to so-called take a nap, and it was like 11:50. I'm like, I'm not getting out of bed. I'm done. so I missed that, but that was my Monday.
All right. Sorry for the background noise here. The utility company is literally right outside our window putting up fucking lines or something. Yeah. So sorry for that little background noise. Berto, how about your day there?
All right. From what I can remember, well, we went into Cozumel, walked around for maybe an hour and a half, and we're like, all right, let's get back on the boat. So I know we saw Quiet Riot, and like Rob said, Rudy Sarzo is amazing. He's the guy to watch when they're playing. He beats his bass, he licks his strings. He's crazy. He's an amazing bass player, and he's been like that like his whole career, always playing like crazy, weird kind of looking playing. But he's a good bass player as well. So yeah, did the Quiet Riot thing. I think we caught a little bit of Richie Kotzen, but didn't stay too long because we've seen him before on the Kiss cruises, and he's awesome. Then we did catch Extreme for a while. Didn't see it all, but saw most of it. And then I know we got in line for Steve Harris, and that took a while, but I wanted to get my Live After Death album signed because
Derek Riggs
signed it already. He was at a comic bookstore here in Scranton.
On your birthday.
So he signed that. So I'm like, oh, that'll be cool to get Steve Harris's signature on there as well. So we waited in line for that. Had a couple drinks while we were in line. Took a while, but we finally got that done. And got out of there. Went over to Accept. Watched that show. I think we did a little Black and Blue. And I think that was it. I don't remember catching Firehouse.
I think we did Faster Pussycat.
Oh, Faster Pussycat, yeah. It's a little bit of a blur after the Steve Harris thing. And Accept, well, once again, Accept killed it again. And then little casino bar action, and then, yeah, Firehouse.
Yeah.
Or Faster Pussycat, I mean.
Yeah, just real quick for me for day 3. Actually, when Quiet Riot was playing on the pool stage, that's when Brian came up to me in Granza when we started shooting. We started talking with Brian in the pool during Quiet Riot. So that's where I met. That was the first day that I met Brian.
Could you hear them while you guys were in the pool?
Yeah, yeah, okay. You can hear them pretty good. Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out there. In the Steve Harris photo thing was kind of cool too. We had a little back and forth with the people about the signatures on the albums.
Yeah.
But we got that taken care of too. So that was a fun day.
You guys actually bought
the
new album, and the whole band was going to sign it, and then there was a miscommunication of signing that with the whole band. And
then I yelled at the guy.
Yeah,
I saw him though the next night, and I apologized to him. I said, I think I yelled at you the other night during the Steve Harris thing. I said I wanted to apologize. He said, "Don't worry about it. Things got screwed up."
The girl selling them said absolutely the whole band was
because she sent that guy back to find out.
Right.
So I don't know. So it was messed up. So I did apologize to the guy. That was a cool thing. So day 4, Canadian Rob. How about your day 4?
I think I slept in a little bit. I didn't see anything until 11:45. Rare Hair, and I watched the first bit of that. I thought that was cool. The ones I remember were Def Leppard's "Let It Go," and they did "Wild Side" by Motley Crue. So that was kind of cool. But I didn't stay there because I went. Geez, where did I go? Oh, Dangerous Toys in Studio B. And I watched the first bit I don't know. I'm going to say half the show. And I was actually a little disappointed by it. I will say that the guitarist, the guy with the cowboy hat there or whatever, he's a fantastic guitarist. But maybe I should have seen him on the pool stage because that was one of the few disappointments for me. After that, it was heat at the pool stage, and he was in his shorts instead of his pants, which, but I still enjoyed the whole show. That's any second show in the theater, although I wish I did, because I heard that Richie Kotzen and Nuno Bettencourt got up near the end, and he did kind of like a mini G3 thing. So that would have been cool to see.
That would have been cool.
But I did see KK's Priest in Studio B, and I really enjoyed myself. I only really know the second KK Priest album. The first one I've heard, but don't really know it well. I thought the songs they did came off well live. I think, like you mentioned, Steve, I thought Ripper did the Judas Priest stuff great. I had a lot of fun at that show. After that, Queensryche at the pool stage, which again was fantastic. I thought the kick drum was like super loud, though. I don't know if it was just me, or maybe that's the way my earplugs. That's the smartest thing I did, was bring earplugs to this cruise. I'll tell you that. But they mixed up the songs from the first set. It was fantastic. Between the two shows of Queensryche, I wish they had done more Todd era stuff, because I really love his stuff. Then I missed the second A show, which apparently was not that big of a thing. And I went to British and caught the last bit of that, or some of that anyway. A few songs. I liked it. I made a playlist of all the Mork bands, and British Lion were on it. And, I thought the songs were good. But when I saw them live, the 3-4 songs I saw, it's like, man, these have more of a Maiden feel than I remember hearing on studio. But, some of the harmonized guitars and stuff. And I thought, I wouldn't say it stood out. It was at the forefront. But if you were aware of Maiden, I'm sure you would have noticed it. Huh. Then I saw Crazy Licks at the pool stage. They were, one of those Swedish bands that will never make it to Vancouver, I'm sure. And I have one of their albums that I really like, so I wanted to see them. And yeah, they were entertaining. I think they used some tracks.
They did use tracks, yep.
Yeah, but, I didn't mind that. The songs were great. After Crazy Licks, the next thing I saw was Winger in the theater, and I saw that whole show. Fantastic. I think they only did one off the new album, Desperado, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But yeah, song selection was great. Red Beach is just another wow moment. I recorded part of Heading to a Heartbreak, his solo on that. Just amazing. After that, oh my God, the last show of the night, Lizzie Borden. And man, oh man, when he came out in that first costume with the 3 faces, my jaw hit the floor. It's like, this is the coolest thing I've seen. Every song he had a different costume on. There's girls dancing, and there's one time when the girl runs by and she's got like a bikini top. He grabs her, bites her neck, and blood starts pouring down, and that's awesome. And it was a really fun show. But what really made it fun for me was watching it with BC. Because we all know BC loves Lizzie Borden, and to be there with them, and it's my first show ever seen him, that just elevated the experience for me. That was a ton of fun. And then after that, I'm pretty sure it was the casino bar and then the buffet.
Berto, how was your day for?
My day mirrors Rob's day, except KK's Priest. We couldn't get into that one because it was oversold or whatever. Wow. we were late to the party. But everything that he saw, Spread Eagle, Heat, Queensryche, Ace Frehley, Crazy Licks, Winger. I think we did a little punchlines and backlines. We caught the end of that. But it was packed. And then we went over to Lizzie Borden after that. And again, it was crazy. Because I've never seen Lizzie Borden. And what a show he put on. It was nuts from the beginning to the end. It was just like it kind of reminded you of like an Alice Cooper theatrical kind of vibey show like that. Which was, it was nuts. It was pretty cool. I'm definitely a new fan.
All right, Brian, how about your day 3? Or I'm sorry, day 4, right? Yep, day 4.
Yeah, so this was one of those things where you're trying to do 12 things at once, so which one do you do? So I caught the same 2 songs, I think that Rob said he caught. The first 2 they did, Let It Go and Wild Side, Rare Hair. Spread Eagle was one of my bucket list bands. I kind of disappointed. I get over there, and they'd done a song or 2. I think I was a little bit late, and they go into Devil's Road, and they're doing like this, just talking and blah, 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 milking it for like 5 minutes. And they're not, I don't think they're the type of band that can do that. I mean, they have some killer 3.5 to 4 minute songs, Revolution Maker, Devil's Road, Switchblade, Serenade. Like, I think they're the kind of band that just needs to hammer their songs and get out of there. I was super pumped. I really did want to see that So You Think You Can Shred. So I booked it over there right as they were starting, and it was packed to the gills, but I was at the very back. But I'm really glad I went because, man, there were some talented guys, and then just getting to hear Nuno and Joel and Joe and all those guys just literally give like some really constructive, it was really, a lot of comments were hilarious, but really constructive stuff too. I thought that was just cool just great for anybody. Nuno kept saying, anybody that has the balls to get up here, like they all kept saying, none of us have the balls to get up here and do this, because it's one thing to get up there in front of 30,000 people. It's another, with like 8 of your idols like standing there right there watching you, and some really good players too. So that was cool. I did make it over for Heat. I not a real huge. I don't know. I don't quite get it. I even did hear the original stuff with Eric, but I didn't see them live originally with him. So I'm sure there's a bit of a disconnect there, like you guys are saying. Props for actually bringing a keyboard player. No props again for sticking him as far back as humanly possible. Satriani was a bucket list guy. Got there about 3 songs in. I thought Joe was great. He always is. I was impressed, and I thought it was very cool. He had that keyboard player out there where you could actually see him, and he was playing. And that guy, I don't know his name, but he sang the crap out of when they brought Nuno and Kotzen up. They did Crossroads, and I forget what the other song was, but man, this guy's voice was absolutely ridiculous. They're trading solos, and the keyboard guy's doing stuff, and that was great. And then it was just waiting around for Queen's Reich. And again, like I said, the pool stage, I got right up there, and oh my God, I hear the opening beginning to Screaming in Digital, and I'm like about to shit my pants. Are you kidding me? I mean, just cannot believe they busted that song out of all songs. So damn good. I think there was there one repeat? And I don't even remember what it was. Maybe there wasn't. And that was kind of it for me for music for the rest of the day. I wanted to see Tyson do his comedy. So I actually got there, and I got one of the last seats there was. And it was funny because Tyson literally sat right down next to me, and I'm asking him, "Are you nervous?" And he's like, "I don't know, a little bit." But he got up there, he did great. I mean, there was a great joke about being mistaken for, John My Young in Dream Theater, which I thought was pretty hilarious. And I thought he did a good job, and Courtney was great too. So I booked it over at the end to catch some of Lizzie Borden. Again, I felt like that high end was tearing my head up. I wasn't getting, and again, it's probably just me being sick. I forgot what the one song was, and then American Metal, which the first time I ever heard him, it was on one of those compilation cassettes in like 1983 or 4 or 5 or whatever it was, and American Metal was on there. I love that song, so it was cool getting to hear that, and he brings the flag out and drapes it all over him or whatever he was doing with it. And and then it was go over to the craps table for me.
How'd you do?
I don't know if you guys are. Craps to me it's the one you have the best odds there. Yep. I ended up $75 up after it was said and done. It's one of those things you got to be willing to lose like $60 in a matter of like 5 minutes, and then come back to the table 3 hours later, and you might be able to win 300. It's just That's the way craps is. So I think I was up 200 at one point, and then next thing you know. So I stopped after I got it to 75, so I'll take it all day.
There you go.
And the funny thing is, we just talked about Lizzie Borden, and as soon as we talk about Lizzie Borden, who shows up here?
BC.
Yeah, BC.
You cannot talk bad about Lizzie.
Yeah, BC's just dropping off some soup that his wife made for my wife, so I figured he'd come in and make a little quick cameo. I know he's got some other stops to make, but I just wanted to say
multiple soup stops.
Oh, there you go.
No soup for me. He didn't bring soup for me.
Soup for
soup
you.
for
No
my
soup
wife.
for you.
No soup for you.
BC's wife is the new soup Nazi.
Soup Nazi. No soup for Steve.
All right. So I just wanted BC to say hello. Thanks, BC. I'll talk. I'll text you later. Is the ladder out of service? Oh, okay.
Don't you be
I'll talk to
concerning
later.
yourself with that.
I know.
Stay out of the loop. Let it go.
I can't
You
help
are
it.
retired. Let it go.
I can't help it. Thanks. I'll talk to you later. All right, a little cameo from BC. So there's, I think we got everybody's day 4, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? I think. So
the only thing I want to say about day 4 is the A show was it was a little bit short. No, he cut 3 songs the first night, or 2 songs the first night, but the second night it wasn't as good sounding as it was in the theater, but that could be the acoustics. And when he was doing Cold Gin, he started with the second verse instead, and then he realized, he goes, "Oh, that I sang that part already," and then he said it out loud to himself. That
because on Shock Me he did the first verse and then he did the solo.
Yeah.
So because I got there like right when that started, I'm like, oh, that's different.
The second show, he looked a little more out of sorts than he was the first time. The first time he was right on, but the second time he was a little off kilter. Let's just say
I saw about 4 songs of that show and I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, so maybe he had too much Dramamine or whatever.
Could be
seasickness.
Could be. Rob, start us out with day 5.
Day 5. Let me see.
Final day of the cruise.
This was.
And we were at Nassau that day.
Nassau, yeah. So me and Richie are hurting by then. So you guys all had that painting class to do. So me and him, we kind of just chilled, sat on our balcony, just, we had service on our phone, so we're catching up, seeing what's going on, and texting, emails, and all shit like that. So our day didn't start until, let me see, we treat maybe? Did we? Oh no, Pat Travers Band I think we started with. No, we might have saw a treat first. So then we went up to Pat Travers Band on the pool deck, and we were drinking those, what the hell, Goombay Smashes.
Goomba Smashes.
Goomba Smashes. So we had a bunch of those. So we started out pretty good. And then, did we go see Extreme? It's a little, I know Winger we saw on the pool stage. Glenn Hughes we saw in the theater. Caught most of that. I think I missed the first song. I caught up with you guys in there. Really good. A lot of just singing and like
a lot of vocalization stuff.
Just like a lot of howling and stuff like that. Yeah, and it was different. Then where the hell did we go after that? Slaughter. We went to the theater.
Well, we were on our way up to see Armored Saint, and they were canceled.
Oh, Armored Saint got canceled. Yeah, because it was pouring rain. So that was kind of a bummer. And then we did sit down right behind the soundboard, and me and Richie caught Slaughter because we wanted to, catch the sound because they were kind of getting like slammed for their sound for a couple people that we talked to from the other time. But they sounded great. I mean, Mark can't sing like he used to sing. He can't. He tries to reach for that note, and he goes beyond it. And if he would just bring it down and not try to hit that note, he sounded so much better. But then when he goes for that scream, he goes beyond the scream, and he just starts sounding bad.
He overreaches.
So he overreaches, and if he wouldn't do that, because he did it on a couple songs where he didn't go that high, and he sounded really good. So if he doesn't push it that far, they would sound great. But they did a guitar solo, then they did a drum solo, then they did
you
a
can't
bass
do that shit
solo.
on these shows. You can't do that.
Leave the solos at home. We don't need them. Just
do that for your club shows.
You only have so much time. Give us some songs. Leave the solos.
And then they played the Immigrant Song. I know they did it on the first show. Did they do it on the second show
Yeah,
too?
they did. And it wasn't. It was the same exact pretty much set.
Yeah.
And they don't even do the Immigrant Song that good. So. But and then Lizzie Borden. Did I go to Borden on the second one?
Second one.
Oh, I was.
You were.
I don't think
you were on the side or something.
Yeah, I think I sat for that one because I was exhausted by the end of the night. But it takes a lot out of you, these damn rock and roll cruises. I'll tell you that. Yeah. By day 5, I was beat.
Brian, how was your day 5?
Got off the boat a little bit by myself. just kind of wanted some alone time. It was so damn hot there. Just walking to and from. I really just kind of walked around the town for maybe 10 minutes. And I'm like, you know what, the hell with this. I'm going to go just hang out at the pool. So I did that, caught some of Bad Marriage. I'd listened to some of the stuff, and I think it's okay. I don't know that they're, I don't want to say worthy of being on the cruise, but, I putting them out on the pool stage, as much as I'd say I love the pool stage, I don't know if that's a great idea necessarily.
Yeah, they were a late edition.
Yeah. And now went to Soto, and Soto's a great friend of a buddy of mine, Z here, plays with band Disco Inferno. They've done some stuff, I think, at NAMM before. So I got some pictures of him when we did the pre-party, which is kind of cool. I will say I was pretty bummed about this medley thing, and I think Jeff is in a really tough situation. And what does he really play here? Because he's not going to play the Sons of Apollo stuff, right? He's only going to play a couple of the Yngwie. I don't think that many people know his solo things. I mean, I'm a big fan, but I just know a few songs here and there. So I think it's kind of forced to play those medleys. And I don't know. I think it was Robert, someone said it before, like, I'd rather, maybe just if you could somehow pick a couple Suns songs and a couple Yngwie songs, 3 or 4, and get those, knock those out, and then do some medleys of your solo stuff. And that disco medley at the end, like, that's a perfect world thing. It's just a company that kind of is in charge of all of the disco bands out there, and I've seen the local bands do that. And I unfortunately I walked out when they started that because that annoyed me. But the stand up and shout thing was killer with the chick from, I forgot the name of the band,
Cassandra from Paralandra.
Yeah, I just wish I could have heard more just full songs, But again, I think he's in a tough situation on what does he really play, Yeah, skipped up to Winger. Wanted to make sure I caught that. So glad I did. Man, great show. Again, I mean, seeing them there right there, you're 10, 15 feet away on the pool stage. You can feel the bass and drums thumping you. You can hear the guitar. Reb's awesome. That little medley thing they did was killer, where it was stuff from the guys that have been in the different bands. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, when they do
That was
they
neat.
Do Jane and all that.
I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Yeah, the only bummer was I thought, because he said the one guy was in Survivor, I thought we'd get some Eye of the Tiger, but that never came. But yeah, so I wish I'd gotten to see Glenn Hughes. I only saw him once before, and that was when he was in that California Breed band way back.
Wow.
Yeah, I caught a little of the Dueling Pianos. Again, it was the same story. He couldn't even move. It was kind of neat seeing Tyson do "We Are the World." He sort of did all the different voices, so that was really talented.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
To see that, yeah. And then as pissed as everyone else was, but nowhere near as pissed if I hadn't seen him day one, No Armored Saint.
Yeah, that sucked.
So thank God. I mean, I'm just so glad I did. I had thoughts of going to see Slaughter, and then I thought, you know what? I know what Mark's going to sound like. I mean, I don't mind their stuff, but do I, again, still kind of under the weather. Do I want to hear him screaming his brains out? Probably not. So then it was back over to the casino to, I think at this point I had lost all my winnings and was back to zero. And I went over there and got on my run. And once I got up to my $75, I got the hell out of there, and I was done and happy.
All right. Rob K., wrap us up for day 5.
All right. Well, I started off walking around. Once I got through the tourist part at the beginning, I walk into the city, and the first thing I see is Pirate Brewing Company craft beer. I thought, okay, I'll stop there later, but not right away. First, I went to Starbucks. I got some free Wi-Fi and connected with people, and then I walked around, went to a restaurant, got some conch fritters and rum drinks, which was good. And then somebody sent me a message that a relative of mine collects Starbucks cups. So can you get one from Bahamas? So I went back and had another drink. I stood on sat on the balcony there, and that's when I met Chips Enough, and got a photo of him and me. And he told a cool story about, I asked him, hey, when's the last time you've been to Vancouver? He goes, well, we were on the bus, and it was after his first album, and Bob Rock came on and said he wanted to produce us. And I said, we kind of want to produce it ourselves. And So he left, and I keep thinking, what would have happened if I had let him produce our second album, which was the Strength album, if I remember that right. So that was kind of a cool story. And he is a really nice guy.
Yeah.
I did go to the Pirate Brewing, had a flight. They didn't have anything in cans to like take home, for my friends to try. Back to the boat, and I got there in time to see Soto in the theater again. Pretty much the same set. He mixed up one medley. I can't remember what it is. Brian, I agree with you. I wish there were some full songs. And then he did that disco medley again. He actually had to cut it short. At one point he talked to someone off stage, and it seemed like he cut it short from the time before. I guess they didn't want another Ace situation or something. Yeah. After Soto, I went to the pool stage, watched the beginning of Pat Travers. He's pretty consistent. It seemed like the same set. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I left and went to the theater to see Extreme. And that started, Nuno said that they were going to play some different songs, but they started off, the first 4 or 5 were the same. And it just wasn't the same vibe as it was on the pool stage. And so I was looking at the schedule, I've never seen Heaven's Edge. And plus when I did the photo op with Extreme, as I kind of left, I said, hey, you guys should come to Vancouver. And Nuno said, we are. And, I couldn't hear when they were coming. But geez, if they're coming to Vancouver, I'll see a 90-minute, 2-hour show. So I'll go check out Heaven's Edge, which I've never seen. And that was pretty cool. They brought out the guitars from Kicks.
Brian Forsyth.
Oh, I was at that show. Yeah, I was there. Forgot I went to that one.
Keith Ross. Is that the guy's name?
Keith Ross from XM.
Carson from you say the name. I can't say
Paralator.
Yeah, and they did a Kick song. Was it Cold Sweat?
Cold Blood.
Cold Blood, sorry. Yeah. And anyway, Heaven's Edge has those kind of choreographed moves. And, I'm kind of I'm an older 80s guy. I'm a sucker for those kind of things. I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, I agree.
They were fun.
After Heaven's Edge, there's my biggest conundrum of the cruise. So I had seen Richie Kotzen the first time, and like I said, he was my highlight. I was just in awe. It was just so fantastic. But he was playing at the same time as Glenn Hughes, who I missed because I was in one of the lines for the photo op. And so I thought, do I never see Glenn Hughes, or do I not see Richie Kotzen a second time? So I went to Glenn Hughes. Fantastic show. I was up front, or close to up front. He was celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Deep Purple Burn album, and he only did songs from the 3 Deep Purple albums he was on: Burn, Stormbringer, and Come Taste the Band. Man, what is he, 72 or something? His voice.
Same age as Ace.
Yeah. No. Well, there's a bit of a difference there.
Was that a dig?
Maybe.
He might have done more drugs than these, too.
I think he did.
From what I understand. So I'm glad I got to see him. That was cool. After Glenn Hughes, just going down. I was going to go see Armored Saint. They were canceled because of the rain and lightning. So I went and saw the Slaughter show with my roommate and his buddies. Stayed the whole show. It was the exact same set that they did in Vancouver, like in February when they opened up for Great White. It was a pretty good set. But then they did like 3 ballads in a row, and that just brought it down.
Momentum killer.
Yeah. Throw one of those up. Sorry, go ahead.
Momentum killer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus all the solos, drum solo, guitar solo, bass solo. It was just too much.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't remember those solos being too long.
No, they weren't.
Yeah,
they were unnecessary.
Like the drum solo, they on the screen they had Animal from the Muppets behind them. It's Blaze Elias, right?
That was cool. Yeah.
And when you watch them, you can see the resemblance.
Yeah,
but that was kind of almost an intro into the Immigrant Song. And yeah, if you're doing a headline 2-hour show and you want to throw in a cover, I'm okay with that.
Right.
But if you're only doing an hour and you've got songs could you have played instead of the immigrant song? Yeah. And, in my opinion, you're not going to do it as well as Led Zeppelin ever did it.
True.
So anyway, so I would say the first part of Slaughter was great. And then they did the 3 ballads and ended up with Up All Night, I think was the last one. That was the last show I saw. I was going to head over to see the last bit of Lizzie Borden, but you guys are already at the casino bar, so I hung out with you there, and we closed down.
Yeah, we had a long, and I'll tell you what, the last night of the cruise was the night that I went to bed the earliest. It was like 2:45. So there was not a lot of sleeping that took place at Mandelbaum Manor for sure. That was our cabin name. So I'll tell you what, we just it seems like a blur now, doesn't it? To me, it seems like it takes so long for the cruise to get here. Then a week before that drags forever, and then you're on the boat, and then you're home. Mm-hmm. It's literally seems like it's that quick, and the anticipation is definitely worth it. We've been here for a while. I don't want to keep you guys much longer. We'll go around, give your final thoughts, give me your 2 favorite bands, and give me your one that you were maybe disappointed in. We'll start with Brian. And Brian, plug your podcast too. Give us times and give us the lowdown on that as well.
Yeah, so Talking Into Infinity, it's usually every other Thursday. We're actually going to be on this coming Thursday. We have a cruise-themed episode, so we're going to talk about if we had a Dream Theater cruise, you have to fill out the rest of the bands. We're not going to do 40, so I believe my co-host and I settled on 10. So we're going to come up with 9 other bands. They don't necessarily have to be completely in that Dream Theater vein, but let's not get, let's be realistic. So that's going to be our episode. We stream 7:30 Eastern time. You can find us all over talkinginfinity.com. We have Facebook. I think we have Instagram, but the show streams on YouTube and Facebook also. So this Thursday, we are also on the CMS Network. You can actually download the app CMS Network. There's like 8 other shows. Chris Aiken, this is his network. So Cleveland Classic Metal shows on there. There's some other shows too. So if you download the app, you can go find all of our shows, or you can just find us on Spotify, iTunes, and all this and that. So my highlights, I guess it's cheating using Queensryche, but I knew they would be amazing. They were. Treat was awesome. Armored Saint, I think we're supposed to only do 2, so I'll stop with those. Armored Saint was amazing. I'm not upset at the performance of Soto. I just wish I could have got, songs, full songs. And again, I think it's a tricky situation on exactly what he's supposed to play there with his band. He's in a new band. I hope you guys know this, Art of Anarchy.
Yep.
So he's the 3rd singer, which before it was Scott Weiland, right? And then it was Scott Stapp. So this band is the same 2, I think, brothers who are guitar players. I won't go into all that, but they're coming, I think, somewhere near you guys. I may be road tripping up there. I'm not sure if it's they're in Michigan. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah. So I would recommend anybody get a chance to go on this once at least. I don't know if I'll go again. My wife really wants me to go again, especially without her. So I don't know what that says exactly, but depending on the lineup next year, I may consider it. I think it was maybe about 1 day too long, but that's probably way more because I was just kind of just under the weather, and I wish I had enjoyed it. But I really loved just looking over there, and there's Todd LaTorre sitting. He just, after eating at the buffet, I don't know. There's a singer for Hardcore Superstar. There's Rudy Sarzo rushing to the pool stage. There's Justin Hawkins doing the surf pool. I just walk around and getting to see all that. Great vibe. I'm trying to think of a band I'd love to see on there. Well, hey, how about TNT? They were a no-show. Let's get them on there. So, yeah, I'll go TNT for sure.
All right. Rob, Canadian Rob, go ahead, my friend.
All right. I'll start with my disappointment. But my biggest disappointment was that whole Cooking with Stars Ted Poley thing so I didn't get to see Ted. So I'll stick with that. Most of the artists I saw were really good they were all right, that sort of thing. As far as highlights, Richie Kotzen by far was the one that blew me away more than I expected. Number 2, I want to say Queensryche, but I've seen them before and I know they were going to be good. So I'm going to say Accept. I just had a blast at that show. As far as next year, so I wrote down like 10 bands.
Give us a couple. We're not limited to anything.
Okay, let's go with, it'd be cool to see Bruce Dickinson solo on there. They've had Steve Harris. Why not that? And then how about Night Ranger? And I got to throw, I'm a big fan of Helix, so we'll go with that. And I got to say, the cruise was fantastic. The music was great. But like meeting you guys just took it to another level. And that's all of you, like, who's not here? Grants, Richie, BC, Sonny Pooney, Stephen Michael, Tony, G Butter. I just had so much fun, and you guys are awesome. And I can't wait for next year.
Berto.
All right. Disappointments I'll start with, but I guess the only ones I'm disappointed with was the ones I didn't get to see because it was so tight. So there's a couple that I didn't see that I wish I did see that you guys, gave some you gave some good reviews, and a couple other ones, and Joe Satriani I didn't get to see. So there's a couple that I'm disappointed that I didn't get to see. So that's probably my disappointment. My number 1 would have to be Accept, I would think, because they were so tight, sounded so good. Haven't seen them in so long. So I think that's my number 1. My number 2 was a good surprise, which I had no idea was April Wine. They really threw me back because I had no idea that they were going to be that good. And just the way he plays with no pick, I kept staring at his hands. I'm like, is he totally not playing with a pick? He's got to be playing with a pick. And I forget who was sitting next to me, and he's like, oh no, he's got a pick. He just keeps putting. I'm like, no, he doesn't have a pick. There's no pick. Watch his hands. It was I think it was Richie. And he goes, no, he's picking a little bit. I go, no, look at his hands. He doesn't have a pick.
No
pick. So that's what April Wine really, really impressed me. A lot of the other ones I've seen before. So Queensryche, always great. You know what I mean? Saw them on the Kiss Cruise. They were great. So a lot of these other bands I've seen before. Armored Saint was great, but Accept and April Wine are probably my best. Who I would like to see. Helix is a good one. I didn't even think about them. Very good. Maybe Wasp would be cool. I haven't seen them in a while. The last show I was supposed to go see, I couldn't go. There was a wedding, and the one before that one was canceled. So that might be a fun band to see. Then I'm sure there's a couple other ones out there that I just can't think of off the top of my head right now.
All right. So, once again, Brian, Canadian Rob, American Rob, Berto, however you want to call you guys. Thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day, especially right in the afternoon, after work or whatever. Because I know Rob came right from work, and I did too. I'm not sure, Brian and Rob K, what your guys' status for the day was. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Hope to see you guys on the cruise next year for sure. I will be there, and it's one of them things. Once you go, it's like the Kiss Cruise, Rob. Once you go, you're in. You know what I mean? You right. Got to go because.
Well, I do want to see the schedule. I'm hoping. There's bands like this because this is amazing.
Yeah, this was a good lineup.
I hope they don't dial it down.
It's going to be different with the different boat because there's no kind of Studio B on this other ship, I guess. So we're gonna have to wait and see how that plays out. And I think that this year was a little more metal than the previous cruises. Because we had some more metal. We had Queensryche and we had Accept and. Lizzie Borden and Armored Saint, so it was a little more metal. KK's Priest, yeah.
There was a lot of metal on this.
Yeah, so and that's why it was just crazy this year. And this was by far the busiest Monsters of Rock cruise that I've been on so far. There was literally hardly any time to eat. There were the other cruises we would sit in schooners for a long time and shoot the shit and have some drinks. We didn't do that at all. Even in the mornings, it seemed like everything was compressed because Sunday and I would have a routine where we'd have like coffee and shit together and talk every morning. We didn't do that once this year either. So it was a very hectic cruise, but it was fantastic. And Brian, awesome meeting you. I will absolutely be checking out your podcast. Rob K from Vancouver, as always, it was awesome meeting you. I'm so glad you went. So glad we got to hang out. And thanks for coming on the show, you guys, as well. Berto, we're doing a Kiss Crew next month, so we'll be having you back on again soon. So, guys, once again, thank you very much for coming on. And if there's any way that anyone out there can get on Monsters of Rock Cruise, financially, time-wise, do it if you can, because it is such a freaking good time. And thanks for listening, everybody, for this bonus episode. Once again, thanks, guys, for giving up your time today, for coming in. Take care of yourselves out there. Take care of each other. We will see you next time. And there absolutely, definitely, positively will be a next time.